Nothing mattered, nothing fazed me. We were younger then, so much younger then. And everything seems rotten through the eyes of the forgotten. We were dumber then, so much dumber then. What have I judged a book by how it's bound? Am I lost or and everything seems rotten through the I found. And are you with me? Are you with me now? Come back from the dead. You've been inside your head for too long. Are you with me now? Find the places that scare you. Come on, I dare you. Are you with me?
Tonight, the Excel Racing League takes on the Talladega SuperSpeedway for the Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Say It, Fight It, Cure It 150. When the dust settles and the smoke clears, who will be out on top holding the hardware? We're about ready to find out next, live on DRTV.
And we welcome you to DRTV's live coverage of the Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Say It, Fight It, Cure It 150 tonight from a Talladega SuperSpeedway here in Talladega, Alabama. The DRTV residency of Talladega continues here, and we have live flag-to-flag coverage of this awesome event tonight being housed out of the Excel Racing League stables this evening. A first trip for us over here to DRTV to the Excel Racing League, and we really thank them for having us aboard. Good evening, everybody. My name is Phil LaCasse, along with my broadcast partners Todd Stanton and Mr. TV Time Rich Patton in the DRTV control booth. An awesome event we have on hand here tonight. A great field of cars, and like we said, Todd, the first trip ever for us at DRTV to make over here to Excel Racing tonight. A great bunch of guys. The amount of information these guys have given us at our fingertips tonight, at our disposal, just absolutely out of this world. And we have a great event on hand, and it's going to be an awesome night of racing.
Yeah, big kudos to the Excel Racing League for giving us all that information at our hands and at our fingertips there, Phil. Lots of information for us to go over all evening long here at the Talladega SuperSpeedway. These guys running retro paint schemes, Phil. Maybe you got a little bit of recap on some of these guys with these retro paint schemes, seeing how you're a little bit older than I am, and some of these cars I recognize and some of them I don't.
Wow, we've got a lot of awesome paint jobs out here tonight. Some stuff going back all the way to the early 80s there, the old Pepsi Challengers and, you know, the old school Valvoline schemes that were made famous all the day by the Neil Bonnets and, you know, the Jody Ridleys and whatnots of the world. It's a lot of awesome schemes out there we're going to see all night long here at the Talladega SuperSpeedway, and a lot of heavy hitters and a lot of great stuff to get into tonight as we get this PCA 150 under the green flag conditions. This is just now clicked over into the qualifying session here tonight. We have a little while here before we get to the green flag, about 15 minutes or so, so we have a lot of stuff to get to here. We'll see if we can't get a word with a couple of these guys here before we get under green. But while we're at it here, just our quick throw around here as we get the evening underway here down to the booth for the first time tonight to Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton. Rich, you've been hard at work all day on this, and so many great features, and just a big hats off to all these guys over here at Excel. I mean, the amount of stuff we have little tidbits we can come out with tonight. You know, just a first-class group here, and real excited there to open up this relationship between the Excel Racing League and us here at DRTV.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Being here at Talladega once again, we're getting our fill in for sure. A little bit of information about the event tonight. We're going to be running 57 laps around this 2.66-mile tri-oval. Pit road speed is going to be 55 mile an hour. They are running with realistic damage with 2X tire wear. So hopefully they keep it green, keep their cars clean. We're going to see some green flag pit stops. Should be pretty interesting. And I'm really looking forward to it. Good bunch of guys over here. We've been dealing with Chris Rogers so far, helping get all this set up, and they've gone above and beyond on getting us information tonight. So we should have a pretty good show in store, and hopefully we see a lot of green flag running with these guys running realistic damage. That realistic damage is really going to play a part in this race as we get further into it. So it's going to be interesting to see, how hard they're bump drafting and if they can keep it off the walls and whatnot. So I'm looking forward to it, guys.
It's going to be an awesome event on hand tonight here. As you said, it's 57 laps around this 2.66-mile Talladega SuperSpeedway. 24 cars on the roster sheet. Not sure how many guys have clocked in to and taking time. But this is, of course, a point series race here tonight for the Excel Cup Series here. They run here each and every Tuesday night over here at Excel. And if you'd like to get involved with the Excel Racing League, you can find them at excelracing.net. That's where you can find them. They promote fair, clean racing, some of the toughest competition right here at Excel. And these drivers put on one heck of a show week after week. So many great things. They've been here since 2007 as part of this NASCAR Racing 2003 community. They run many a series. Monday nights, currently the Stars Short Track Series. Late models, a Whalen Modifies, Tough Trucks, the ASA Late Model Series, part of that. Of course, Tuesday night, the Excel Cup Series here in this Gen 6 mod here that we're so familiar with. Wednesday nights, they run the Excel Grand National Series with things like the Aero 88, old school cars, old school tracks, and old school rules. An awesome series there. And also Thursday night, a short track series here, the Dano Skins Pro Cup Series that, Todd, we've heard about many, many times through the years. A lot of great things going over here at Excel, and a lot of heavy hitters here tonight. If you look up and down this roster, a lot of guys you've seen here, not as much here on DRTV, but through the years of this community, there's a lot of heavy hitters out there.
There indeed is a lot of heavy hitters out there, especially here this evening. You got guys with 10 wins, 3 wins, 7 wins in this series, let alone 3 wins. You got a lot of guys that won a lot of races here this season. You've got 31 races so far in this 2015 Excel Racing Cup Series season so far, Phil. It's going to be rather interesting to see who's going to come out on top at Talladega. It's one of them tracks. You just never know what's going to happen. Big one's going to happen. Is the big one going to happen? There's a lot of questions left to be answered here this evening.
Well, that's for sure, no doubt about it. And, it's one of those many things you look out for at Talladega. You're going to see a lot of 3 and sometimes 4 wide racing around the speedway with the 20-car field out here tonight. No question about it. I think you're going to see a lot of that. So, but like you said, the big one always lurks here when you come to Talladega. At these high speeds, the close proximities, a lot of times you need a lot of help to make some of these passes. So a lot of things to look out for there. Pit stops. That's going to be the key, one of the names of the game tonight. They get a long green flag run getting on and off pit road. I believe that, I think Rich will touch on it here in a little bit if he's already had it. A lot of stuff at my disposal here too. But it looks like the fuel window here, right around that 16 to 19 lap mark tonight. So if you pit under the green flag, you got to get on and off pit road. You got to hit your marks. You cannot afford to make a mistake in a field like this. It's going to be a very high-paced, very fast race. 57 laps. It's not an awful lot of laps around at Talladega. It almost feels like it could be some sort of a sprint race. So, we'll keep an eye on all that. Qualifying has concluded. Looks like Frank Divins is going to be your pole sitter tonight. Have not seen Frank on DRTV in quite a while, so good to see him back on the pole at a 52.211. Looking down, up and down the field, Todd, 18 cars taking time, and, the whole field looks like the top 15 cars within 0.2 of a second. So ultra quick field of qualifying, but, as I said, name of the game, Talladega. It's all about that draft, and we'll see speeds pick up here in excess of 200 miles per hour as this thing gets going on. So we're just about a little less than 9 minutes away from getting these things onto the grid, but I'm going to throw it down to Rich down in the booth that has a lot of guys to thank you, a lot of sponsors, a lot of great people that were responsible for getting DRTV out here to Talladega this evening.
Yeah, most definitely, guys. Hats off to Excel Racing. We've already talked a little bit about them. If you got all the information Phil was hollering about a little bit ago about them racing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights in many different series throughout the entire year, go visit them at www.excelracing.net. Great bunch of guys to get a hold of, good, clean racers, and we're going to see some of that action here tonight. Also want to give a hats off to Dano Skins Custom Graphics. You can find them at www.danoskins.net. And it's my understanding that Dano Skins is responsible for all of these paint schemes tonight. So hats off to the guys over at Dano Skins as well. Track Connection, trackconnection.webs.com. Great place to go find any track you're looking for basically for this game. It is a place where Andrew Hertz is housing all the tracks that, all the track makers are able to supply to him at one great location. So if you're looking for an NR 2003 track, check them out at Track Connection. Good guys over there as well. Then, of course, NRT game servers. None of this would be possible without NRT game servers. Many leagues still run on NRT game servers. And if you want a top-notch place to get either a web server, dedicated hosted server, or just a game server, check out Dave over at NRT Servers. Probably the best hands-down customer service you can get in this business. Then, of course, DRTV, Sim Racing Television. None of this wouldn't be possible without us broadcasting this broadcast, and we're thankful to do it and thankful to be a part of this, guys. Back up to you.
All right, so we're just about 5 minutes or so away from putting these things under the green flag conditions. 57 laps around the Talladega SuperSpeedway, the first trip for DRTV over to accelracing.net, a great league. They've been around since 2007, and an awesome event here tonight, the Pancreatic Cancer Awareness. Say it, fight it, cure it, 150. An awesome event here put on tonight by all the guys at Excel. A great field of cars on hand, what should be a really, really great show for us here to watch here tonight on DRTV. But while we're just waiting here, just a few minutes before we get under the green flag conditions, let's see if we maybe can't get a word with the guy responsible for getting us over here tonight. And that was Chris Rogers. He's been so great to work with. Chris, Phil has some DRTV. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Chris, the first trip for us at DRTV tonight over here to Excel Racing. I'd like to say thank you for allowing us over here tonight. And it's an awesome event you guys have put on here tonight so far. The Pancreatic Cancer Awareness. Say it, fight it, cure it, 150. It's on behalf of the DRTV crew. Thanks for having us tonight. And you have a great field of cars here. It should be a great race.
Yes, it should be. I got to thank all the guys for coming out and supporting the league and supporting the series. These guys race with us week in and week out. These drivers are what makes Excel Racing strong. These are what keep Excel Racing going. And I feel we got the best of the best right here.
No doubt, Chris. It's a star. It's a stacked field here. We have not seen a few of these. We've seen a few of these guys on DRTV before, but the first time, as you said, for us to come over here. But throughout the community, you guys have been here since 2007. Todd and I were alluding to it a little while ago. A heavy hitter stacked type of field over here tonight. A lot of these guys, top-notch drivers, and looks like it's going to be a very, very competitive race out there. If practice has any indication about it.
Oh, it's definitely going to be a good race. There's going to be a lot of pushing and shoving. Hopefully we'll be able to take it easy, and save a little bit more pushing and shoving for the end. Hopefully we don't end up with a big one, but with this kind of field, anything's possible. It is Talladega. Anything's possible.
Well, that is absolutely right. Well, Chris, you guys got about 4 minutes or so before you get under the green flag, so I'll let you get out there, get those last tests and tunes there for happy hour. But on behalf of us here at DRTV, thanks for having us, and good luck with that number 00 Chevy. Let's see that good GM Goodrich Service Chevrolet come to the front. Good luck, buddy.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I'm going to do my best out there.
All right, that's Chris Rogers, the guy responsible there for getting us to DRTV over here to Excel tonight. And, Todd, you can't say it enough. These guys have been first class. The information they've given us is just top-notch. And, looking forward to this partnership with Excel to last quite a long time.
Yeah, Chris Rogers, one of them guys that have multi-wins on the season. He's got 10 wins, Phil. So that's going to be one of the guys to watch here this evening. Also 7 wins on the season. Dano, they nicknamed him Dano. Dan Yeager, he has 7 wins on the season. Or no, excuse me, he don't. He has 7 top 5s. 7 wins was actually... Looking through my paperwork here. Sorry, guys. Looking through some of my paperwork. But we also have a guy with 7 wins on the season. We have a guy with 3 wins on the season, Ryan Duchette. Is also second in points. Chris Rogers is your current points leader, Phil. So there's a lot of heavy hitters up and down this field. 12 cars. It looks like they have some sort of chase format here at the Excel Racing Cup Series.
So we'll keep an eye there on the point standings. 2 points coming in tonight, separating the top 2 in the points. So, no doubt it's going to be an awesome race. Talladega can be a game changer. This is for any racing league. So, when it comes to any points paying race. So we'll have to keep an eye at all the workings here. But we have an awesome event here. The PCA 150. About 2.5 minutes away from the green flag here at the Talladega SuperSpeedway. And, just can't wait. Can't say enough to all these guys. A great field of cars, a great event put on. Hats off to all those guys, all the guys over here at Excel. And you're just very, very excited to be a part of this event. 57 laps around the Talladega SuperSpeedway. A really special treat. Thanks to the guys over here at Excel tonight. Sent us so much information, so many different little wrinkles that we can throw in as part of tonight's broadcast. And one very special one we're going to give to you right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to ask you all to please rise. Gentlemen, please remove your caps. we're going to kick off this event tonight, the PCA 150 in style, with the playing of our national anthem.
And there we have the national anthem. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you're going to grab your seats, grab your drinks, whatever you got to do. We're about to get this show underway. We've got just a little bit under a minute left to go. We're going to take us to our NRTV commercial, or NRT commercial real quick, and then we should be coming back to live racing just momentarily. We'll be right back.
NRT Game Servers is your best option for your gaming development need. State-of-the-art technology combined with some of the best voice talent and software out there, NRT gives a quality gaming experience. Dedicated to their craft, NRT provides quality product and services. Contact NRT Game Servers today at 828-212-4040 or at www.nrtservers.com today for a quality gaming experience.
And we welcome you back to DRTV's live coverage from the Talladega SuperSpeedway over at accelracing.net tonight for the Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Say It, Fight It, Cure It 150 here from Talladega. An awesome event. We're going to have 57 laps around 150 miles here at the Talladega SuperSpeedway tonight. Looks like our starting field tonight is going to be 22 cars strong, which should no doubt make for an exciting race here at this high-speed 2.66-mile Talladega Superspeedway. So with that being said, Mr. Todd Stanton, these things are about to get out onto the starting grid. So why don't we kick it off, partner, tonight and go straight into the starting lineup.
And now your starting lineup for the Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Say It, Fight It, Cure It 150. Starting on your pole, driver out of Riverview, Florida. That's Frank Gibbons aboard the number 49, and his dancing partner to the outside is the number 10 out of Connecticut. That's Terry Bombard.
Rolling off from inside row number 2, third starting position will be car number 50, the Coors Light Ford for Rex Adams out of Grand Junction, Colorado. And on the outside of row number 2 in car number 18,
drivers to your car.
The 18 tonight being piloted by Caleb Rutherford. Sorry about that. It's the Tide Chevrolet. Caleb coming to us from Chesterfield, Indiana.
Starting inside row number 3 in number 2, that's Todd Colpitts, and outside of him, driving the number 54, that's Kenny Shipley.
The 95 roll off next. That's the Valvoline Monster Energy Chevrolet from Greenville, North Carolina. That's Willem Beecham. And on the outside, in car number 5, the 5 tonight being driven by Dan Warnke, the Texaco Haviland Chevrolet from Fort Clinton, Ohio.
Next row back, starting in the 11th starting position, the number 44. That is Michael Bettiful, and outside of him is the number 25. That's Craig Brown.
The 13th starter tonight will be the driver of car number 14, the Quaker State Howe Racing Products Toyota from Richwood, Michigan. That's Brent McDonald. And on the outside, 14th starter in car number 42, the Xerox Ford from Minneapolis, Minnesota's own Alan Bolio.
Next row back, starting in that 15th starting position, that's the number 28, that's Brad Douthit, and outside of him is the number 11. That will be piloted tonight by Michael Rogers.
Steve Rogers is going to roll off next in car number 12. That's the Coca-Cola Chevrolet. On the outside, the GM Goodrich Chevrolet, car number 00. That's Chris Rogers.
Next row back, starting in that 39th position, in the number 39, that's Andrew Hertz, and outside of him is the number 24 machine, Tim Atkins.
Heavy hitter rolling off from the next starting position in car number 77, the Jim Fisher Electric Chevrolet from Framingham, Massachusetts, Ryan Doucette on the outside. In car number 33, the 33 being driven by Wade Higginbotham. Wade coming to us tonight in the Hardy Chevrolet from Whitley City, New York, will be Wade in number 33. That is your 22-car starting field tonight. The Pancreatic Cancer Awareness, Say It, Fight It, Cure It, 150 from a Talladega Superspeedway, about a quarter of a lap away from getting onto the green flag. The field is in turns number 3 and 4. The pole sitter, as Todd said, the 49 machine driven by Frank Divens, clocked in with a 52.211. Outside, Connecticut's own Terry Bombard in car number 10. Rex Adams right there in the number 50. Rex, a very accomplished super speedway racer. Heavy hitters throughout this 22-car field. The DRTV Pace Van, Todd, has found its way to pit road, and we're about to put this PCA 150 under the green flag for the first time.
Divens leads them down to get the green flag. We're waiting on the flagger as they come through the tri-oval, getting ready to put the hammer down, the loud pedal down here at the Talladega Superspeedway. Still waiting on the flagger to throw the green flag. The green flag is waving in the air. Divens off to the early advantage here. It's going to take a lap and a half, even 2 laps to get up to full song around the Talladega Superspeedway.
You said a lap and a half to 2 laps to get these things up to full speed, up through the gearbox, through turn number 1 for the first time. Frank Divens at number 49 going out to the race lead. He's got his Screaming Evil Racing teammate, the number 50 of Rex Adams, right there in tow, racing alongside that outside posted of the 10 of Terry Bombard. They're going to be side by side for that second spot, Todd, for the first time as they hit turn 3.
And Frank Divens battling on the bottom side with Rex Adams following him in suit right there in his tire tracks. They are teammates. Frank Divens, no stranger to victory lane here on DRTV. Frank Divens been in victory lane many times right now, setting the pace. Right now he has the early advantage. He can play both lines. He has the number 50 of Rex Adams right there behind him. But Terry Bombard in the number 10 machine now goes up to the top side, helps Frank Divens and his teammate Rex Adams down on the bottom side, Phil.
Now, Rex had to play some defense there. The 2-car, Todd Colpitz, the Exxon Chevrolet number 2, almost made it 3 wide off of turn number 4. Now as they exit off of turn number 2, that Flying Deuce is going to look back to the low side. He'll fall back in line. Teammates side by side for the race lead. Rex Adams down low. Frank Divens up high in that number 49. Give it to Frank with help from Terry Bombard and also Caleb Rutherford there in the 18. That's the race for third as they hit turn 3.
Caleb Rutherford, one of those guys, Phil, that came up from one of the series. As he's a young gun here, one of the young gun pilots. He's won many championships, young gun series here over at the Excel Racing Series. He started racing here at 8 years old, Phil. So now he's about 15 now. He's been racing 7 years, and now he's earned his respect. And he's been a respectable young man, made his way up into the series, many wins, many championships already. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does all evening long.
We'll have to keep an eye on that number 18 machine. The first car on the inside line. Big move there by Kenny Shipley in that number 54. He was able to bring that thing down to the low side and make the battle now be for that third position as they hit turn number 3. The 18 will slam the door shut, but that Caleb Rutherford now trying to make the inside line charge with help from Kenny Shipley and Todd Colpitz in that 2 machine. 3 cars in the bottom lane looking to make ground on that top 2, Todd, as they hit turn 4.
Yeah, the 18 tied ride, that Chevy SS working over the bottom side, trying to get around the 49 of Frank Divens. Divens battling back on the high side. Right now it looks like the high side a little bit more uniform going down the front straightaway through the tri-oval. Now to the start-finish line. Divens has the distinct car advantage right now up there on the top side.
Yeah, Dibbins, working that high line through his advantage. Looked like that's where you can get that max RPM, get that good run off of these high banks and down these long straightaways. Like it's right here at the Talladega SuperSpeedway, that super stretch, as you would call it, down the back straightaway. Frank able to get that big launch off the high side there with help from Terry Bombard up high in that number 10. Now here comes Bombard. He's going to slide out. We're going to have a 3-wide battle for the lead, Todd, as they hit turn 4.
Yeah, Frank Divins after Terry Bombard left Frank Divins. Divins falling back. He's dropping through the field. Looks like he threw a parachute out the window. Divins now dropping through the field. And the number 18 going to lead this time by, it looks like Terry Bombard, even the move that he tried to pull up the middle in that number 10 machine, maybe he's going to settle into 6. Nope, he can't get down to the bottom side, so he's going to suffer the same fate that Frank Divins did, falling back even farther.
Yeah, looks like that, look, you said the high lane looked to be that fast way around, Todd. Well, looking at it a lap later, now that uniform line is that inside line. All them guys amongst the race lead. Caleb Rutherford out there in the 18 with the race lead. Kenny Shipley right there in the 54 in that second spot. Todd Colpitz, Dan Yeager, Dan Warnke there in that number 5. That's your top 5 as they hit turn number 3. All on that low side. You see back there the 44. That Budweiser Chevrolet. That awesome retro paint scheme there from the 44. Michael Benefield. As we say that, Contact's going to send the 44 around. He's hard on the inside wall off of turn number 4. Don't see a yellow flag out. Looks like, Todd, green flag still on the speedway as they hit the line to complete lap number 6. And now the yellow flag will come out for the first time tonight. So Rich will get busy down there in the booth for the first time tonight to show us exactly what happened there in the replay. But looks like, Todd, this is my first thoughts. Maybe a bump draft gone wrong as the 44 car of Benefield is around.
Yeah, the 44, unfortunately, out. Benefield down into the inside wall, hard contact, and he's going to have to pull that machine behind the wall. Our first casualty of the evening here at the Talladega Superspeedway. Luckily, nobody else was involved. I believe it was all by himself. He might have had a little bit of help there, but Rich is down there in the replay booth, going to get that replay queued up for everybody down there in YouTube land to see what happened to the number 44 of Michael Benefield.
Yeah, trying to get a look at it myself, and I'm not exactly sure if there was contact there or not. We'll let the picture tell the story here when Rich gets that all screened out on the replay. But contact, I'm not sure if contact, but definitely the 44 of Mike Benefield around. And Rich, I believe you're ready with the replay. So for the first time tonight, let's check out our DRTV replay.
Yeah, most definitely going to keep our eyes on the 44 and the 18. It looks like there might have been just a little bit of a bump draft coming off the corner. We'll go ahead and play this for you for slow motion. 18, I'm sorry, it's the 10. Get that right, Rich. The number 10 looks like he got a little bit of the back end of the 44. That's just enough to send him sideways. We're going to go ahead and watch him pan out, see if we can't switch back over to the 44. Keep our eyes on what actually happens to him. He's going to go down into the apron. Looks like he's headed right into the wall, nose first. That's going to end his night. Front end's completely crunched, smoking up, coming back out onto the grass in the infield there. It looks like the 44's night is going to be ended. Looks like a combination between the 10 and the 44, guys. Back up to you.
All right, so a tough break there for Mike Benefield there, the Budweiser Chevrolet. That was one of the nicer paint schemes we've seen out there tonight. Contact between him and the 10 of Terry Bombard. Unfortunately, Mike's evening there, that 44, that beautifully repaired car, Todd, has had to expire. He's going to finish up tonight. Last on the field, 22nd. Tough break for Mike. I know he was really excited to get out here racing tonight, but unfortunately, Talladega has claimed one here real early.
Yeah, unfortunately, it has claimed one real early down there on pit road. Business starting to pick up down on pit road. Caleb Rutherford in that tied Chevy machine out of Chesterfield, Indiana, graduate of the Young Gun Series, now pulls down into his pit stall, getting left side tires going on the number 18 machine. Are they going to come around? Nope. Left side tires, almost contact with Frank Divins coming out of his pit stall. Kenny Shipley right there in that number 54 machine, the 18, going to beat him off. Interesting fact there, Phil. Kenny Shipley is his grandfather.
Indeed, that is true. Kenny Shipley is the grandfather there of the 18 of Caleb Rutherford, who is having, a Young Gun Series champion here, graduated up to the Excel Cup Series and having a great run out of it here so far tonight. Been very fast out the gate. My end of pit road, I saw Todd Colpitz, the number 2. He got 2 right side tires. It was gas and goes for the 50 of Rex Adams and also our pole sitter, Frank Divins, 2 tires there. So different strategy plays up and down pit road. 8 laps into the 57 laps that make up the 150-mile race here tonight. That is the Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Say It, Fight It, Cure It 150 here at the Talladega Superspeedway. First time out for DRTV over to the Excel Racing League tonight. Really thankful to be over here and to see all what these guys got going on. 4 nights a week of awesome action here at Excel, promoting great, hard, ultra competitive competition. You can find them at excelracing.net. A great group of guys and a lot of great things going on. Many, many different mods and series and tracks. And, this looks like a really great place to race and a lot of really good guys over here. And it's a very, very strong field. 22 cars started this race. We've unfortunately lost one there with Mike Benefo in the number 44 having to be retired for the evening. But, as you've seen here at Talladega, these ultra high speeds. But one thing we don't talk about a lot, Todd, we don't see a lot of on DRTV, realistic damage. And at a place like Talladega at these high speeds, when you bump something like that, we saw hard contact with the inside wall. That's definitely enough to destroy that race car. And unfortunately for Mike, that ended his night.
Yeah, I'm watching the second group of pit stops coming down. These guys stayed out a little bit longer. Contact made on pit road there momentarily, but Atkins in that number 24 keeps it righted on pit road. Looks like he got a bump there. Unfortunately, that's who I'm following down through on pit road. Coming down to the service, I believe the 8 of his pit crew in that number 24 machine. That's Tim Atkins, Pepsi Challenger Dodge out of Mansfield, Ohio. He might have missed his pit stall there, Phil. I think he just drove right straight through. 2009 Dano Skins Open winner to transfer into an all-star race. 2010 off-season Cup champion is the number 24 of Tim Atkins in that Pepsi Challenger Dodge. So it might be another tough break. You might see him come back down pit road, Phil.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye on that. And you said it, Pepsi Challenger. That's one of them. That's an awesome retro scheme there, made famous by Darrell Waltrip in the 80s. And probably one of my personal favorites there was at number 11 there when he drove for Junior Johnson. And just an awesome scheme out here tonight done by Tim Atkins. And I think it's another one of those Dano skins. Dan Yeager, as always, doing phenomenal paint jobs. See so much of his work when you go out through the NASCAR Racing 2003 community. Just a hats off to Dan. All the guys out there, all the painters. There's so many that just don't get to do they deserve. But so many great schemes. And no doubt here tonight, Dano Skins providing most of these paints for this, everybody here at Excel Racing. Just these awesome views and these throwback retro paint jobs. We talked about so many, that Pepsi Challenger, the Budweiser, we've seen the GM Goodwrench, Haveline, the Valvolines, so many. Coors Light we've seen out there, the retro Bill Elliott scheme. So many great looks all over this Talladega Superspeedway, and a lot more great things to get here tonight, as far as this PCA 150. We got just a minute here, Pace Van Light still on around the speedway. Think we may see the 1-to-go signal maybe this time by. Well, let's see if we can't get a word. Another one of these guys out there in competition tonight. I believe Rich has made the request to see if we can't maybe talk to the 39 of Andrew Hertz. So let's see if we can't get Andrew on the horn. Andrew Hertz, Phil Lacasse, DRTV. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Andrew, first trip for us over here from DRTV over to the Excel Racing Clan. Good to talk to you again, my friend. It's been a while. To say thanks for having us over here tonight. So far, tell us about your night out there in that number 39.
So far it's going good. I'm going to try and stick with a plan here to hang out in the back for a little bit and see what happens.
So, Andrew, one of the sponsors we have here tonight comes off that number 39 machine, the Track Connection. Tell us a little bit of the background about the Track Connection, how guys can find you out there.
Well, you can find us on Facebook or head over to the actual website. It's www.trackconnection.webs.com. It's basically a resource site for tracks, cars, mods, stuff like that, and trying to set a new standard for that. And we've been going and dealing directly with the people who create them and getting permission from them, rather than some of these other sites you see popping up with a bunch of files on them and you don't get permission and they edit them and stuff. So the files that we carry are directly from the source, and we have 100% permission to host them. So trying to set a new standard as far as that goes.
Well, Andrew, it's a hats off to you for that. Said posting all these things with permission. So track connection. Yeah, find them on Facebook. You said, Andrew, I know you're about a quarter lap from the green flag, but it's good to talk to you again. And good luck and give that ride a good show for us here tonight. We hope to talk to you here real soon. Thank you, buddy.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, Andrew Hertz to number 39, rolling off down at the end of the field. Todd, now lights are out on the pace car, but it's not going to be a true green flag, if you will. What these guys do over here at Excel Racing, it's a really, really cool, unique idea. These guys are going to take what they call an initial green flag, but these guys are going to stay at pace speed, and they're going to double up like you would see in a NASCAR style for the Sprint Cup Series or any kind of NASCAR series. So what these guys will do, they're going to take the unofficial green flag, they're going to get double file, they're going to roll around at pace speed for an entire lap, and off of turn number 4, when they hit the designated restart zone, these guys are going to get hard on the throttle, and they're going to go at it in a double file formation. A really cool twist, Todd. It's just one of the very unique things over here at Excel, and I think it's a really cool idea.
I think it's a really good idea, Phil. Some things that were going on while we were talking to the number 39 of Andrew Hertz, the number 18 who was leading, Phil. That was Caleb Rutherford in that Tide ride. Gearbox failure aboard the number 18 machine, so tough break for the number 18. See, I talk about somebody, Phil, and that black cloud just seems to loom.
Well, unfortunately, Todd, the black cloud for you, the DRTV black cloud strikes again. As you said, you were highlighting Caleb Rutherford there, the number 18. Was very, very fast, and unfortunately, Caleb's had to pull that thing behind the wall, and it looks like his night is going to be done, finishing up 21st tonight. A gearbox failure will put him second out of the event tonight, joining Mike Benefill in the garage as the first two out of the event. So 20 cars left on the racetrack. Kenny Shipley out there, and the number 54 is out there with the race lead. Todd Colpitz will be right there on the outside of row number 1. On the outside, row 2, Don Warnke. Alan Bolio, the number 42. Row 3, you'll find Dan Yeager right there inside that top 5, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But we just got done talking to our old friend Andrew Hertz. Todd, we go back a few years with Andrew. But one of the cool things about Andrew, just reading up in his bio, and I know this will be really near and dear to your heart, Andrew got his start in sim racing back in 2006, riding the old DTR2 days before he discovered NR 2003 in 2008. But Todd, I know the old sims like that DTR2, that's very near and dear to your heart.
Yeah, I started in DTR with some of these older sims, and that was a sim back then, and it was in 1998 when I started those type of sims, and it's going to be interesting to see, and some of them factors played into my NASCAR 2003 transition. So being on the dirt helps you save just a little bit more at some of these speedways when you get sideways. We're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Shipley and Colpitz going to lead them down to get the green flag, waiting for these guys to fire out of the tri-oval. It's going to be Shipley, Colpitz, Warnke, Bolio, and Yeager. That is your top 5 getting ready to go green flag. Green flag is in the air. Once again, Kenny Shipley off to a good start. Looks like a little bit of a checkup through there, about mid-pack there, Phil. Going to boggle all these guys up through the mid-pack, and green flag is out. Lap and a half to 2 laps. Full song, high-speed chess match here at the Talladega SuperSpeedway.
Yeah, not exactly sure. What looks like what may have happened there is a 2-car on the outside. Now, he was not the control car, if you will, but he rolled up just to the outside of the Kenny Shipley machine. Looks like he may have had a fender ahead of them before that restart zone, so it looks like that Todd had to jump maybe on the binders in that number 2, and that may have cost him positions. He's dropped now well back outside of that top 5, but all chasing the race leader Kenny Shipley in that number 54 machine. And I'm going to throw it down to Rich for the first time tonight to do a DRTV driver spotlight, a very special spotlight here as we do the Pancreatic Cancer Awareness 150. They're the DRTV driver spotlight. Down to Rich is the 54 of Kenny Shipley.
Yeah, no kidding, guys. The number 54, Kenny Shipley, started in 6th tonight. Highest is 1st, lowest was 9th. Currently our leader. He has led 3 of 11 laps so far. And hats off to him, because Kenny actually is currently fighting pancreatic cancer right now. So it's great to see him out here. Great to see this entire race put on for a cause that they actually have a member involved with. So great deal. I see some 3 wide for the lead right now, so I'm going to send it back down to you guys.
All right, they are 3 wide for the lead. Kenny Shipley on that low lane in the 54. Todd Colpitt's there in the 2, trying to make it a tango up front, and Don Warnke in the number 5. He's got a third line started. Almost made the run for the race lead off of turn number 4. Kenny Shipley, the 54, was able to hold off that challenge 3 wide with the help from the low lane of the 25 of Craig Brown, that Texaco Haviland Ford right there in that low lane, now running in that second spot. Oh, sorry, that's Douthit there, and that number 28 up in that second spot, that Texaco Haviland number 28. You know, dare I, being a Davey Allison fan, Todd, get that one wrong, but those 2 cars now have sorted out for the race lead. That battle now for that third spot, it's Warnke in the 5 up high and Chris Rogers down low in that 00 racing for third as they hit turn 3.
Yeah, 4 cars maintain the top groove right now around the speedway, being led by that number 5 of Don Warnke and that Texaco Haviland sponsor machine. 2 Texaco Haviland sponsor machines out there on the speedway this evening. The other one being driven by the number 28 machine that's being driven by Brad Doufset. And it's a Ford 2, so the 28 right now battling right now in that second spot. You got the number 00. That is Chris Rogers, the guy that's responsible for getting us over here at Excel. He has 10 wins on the season, Phil. Chris Rogers does, and he is your current points leader, running in that third spot right now, battling it out, and he's under a heated battle right now.
He sure is. It is a tremendous battle for that third spot there as they hit turn number 3. Todd Colpitt's in that high lane. Chris Rogers down in the low side trying to chase down our race leaders, that being Kenny Shipley and Brad Douthat in the 28. Here comes Dan Diego, that 93. He's the 4th car in that low lane. That STP Dodge, a great run. He's able to get by Colpitt's there in the 2 machine. And here comes the 42 alongside Alan Bolio, the Xerox Ford. He's going to make his way amongst the top 5 as they hit turn 1.
Here comes Chris Rogers in that 00 machine, now working over the top side with the number 93. That's Dan Yeager aboard the STP ride. Now it looks like he's going to be able to form a line with them guys. The top line starting to get a little bit stronger. Chris Rogers now pulls up alongside the 54. Kenny Shipley, as we come down the back straightaway, Phil, looks like we're going to have the battle for the lead. No, it's now going to be the 54. Kenny Shipley with a slight advantage going into the corner, but you're seeing this outside line gain all kinds of momentum on the top side coming off the corner.
Well, you're seeing that when they get through turn number 4, down through the tri-oval, down through turns number 1 and 2, that high lane really gets that big head of steam, as you would say, with a big run off of turn number 2. But then that inside lane, that low side being led by Kenny Shipley, gets that great run of head of steam going down the backstretch and able to peek back out with a full car length or so advantage, maybe even a full car, and allowing the 28 of Brad Douthat there to clear way into that second spot. But so far, 2 distinct lines around the Talladega Superspeedway, and I think before too long you'll see a third line. As we say that, here comes that outside line, being led there by Chris Rogers. Dan Yeager right there, that 93, pushing on that outside. But by the time they get to turn 3, Todd, they just seem to run out of steam. That low lane looks to gain momentum, and that's going to push Kenny Shipley back out to the race lead as they exit turn 4.
Yeah, Shipley has about a car length advantage over Douthat and the 00 of Chris Rogers. Rogers working over the top side, but it's no prevail. No prevail for that 00 machine, that Goodrich GM Chevy machine. He's trying to work over the top side. The Xerox machine, one of the cars that looks familiar for me, Phil, because I was a big Alan Kowicki fan, and that Xerox machine now working down on the bottom side right behind Douthat.
Well, Todd, you bring up the old Alan Kowicki Xerox paint scheme, and I'm going to give you a big salute. That boy. I thought maybe you were too young for that Alan Kowicki scheme, but that's good to hear. I was a humongous Alan Kowicki fan, and was jumping for joy as a very young, teenage kid there in 1992 when he won that NASCAR championship. We'll follow along with that Alan Bolio machine, paying homage to Alan Kowicki Xerox Ford. He's the 3rd car in that low lane, currently battling with that Chris Rogers GM Chevrolet for that 3rd spot. Still all chasing Kenny Shipley in that number 54 out in the race lead. He has Brad Douthat there as well. Single file until they're 2 wide for that 3rd spot, all the way back to the 20th position. All 20 cars on the racetrack, all within touch of this lead draft. We are working lap number 19 of the 57 that make up the 150-mile trek tonight here at the Talladega Superspeedway. The Pancreatic Cancer Awareness. Say it, fight it, cure it. 150 here from Talladega, being housed by Excel Racing tonight in the first trip for DRTV Auto Excel Racing for an awesome event. The battle for that third position, Todd, off of turn number 4. Now back to single file racing. Everybody now, it appears, amongst that top group has all found their way to the low side of the speedway. Very interesting strategy. Maybe the strategy, Todd, for these guys, ride around, make laps. We still got a long way to go.
Yeah, right around, make some laps. They did pit on lap 7 or 8 here. So green flag pit stops coming up here very shortly, 6 or 7 laps away from green flag pit stops. These guys probably just falling into line. It's a little early to race real hot and heavy up towards the front, and you don't want to wreck your car because realistic damage, Phil, we've seen it already. It could end your night real quick, and we're not used to seeing that here on DRTV. Realistic damage is one of those things that, you hit the wall at 200 miles an hour, your night's pretty much over.
Well, you're absolutely right. Said, realistic damage is one of the things we don't see a lot of here on DRTV, but we welcome all kind of things. The moderate damage we see a lot of. Realistic damage, mods track, anything of any league's choice. Of course, the home of DRTV, drlracing.com. Check us out over there. Great event packages to custom fit every one of your league's needs, and get Rich, Todd, myself, and all the DRTV cameras over to your place. Check us out. drlracing.com is the home of DRTV. An awesome event here at the Talladega SuperSpeedway tonight. The PCA 154 Excel is working lap number 21 into turn number 3. Kenny Shipley out there with the race lead. Brad Douthat right there in that second spot on that 28. Alan Bolio third. Craig Brown has got the 25 car up to that 4th spot. The race on the speedway now is for that 5th position. It's Brett McDonald down low in that number 14 in that 53 machine of Rogers, the Winn-Dixie Ford up high. That's side by side for 5th, Todd, as they hit turn 1.
Old Mark Martin retro scheme and board that number 53 machine, Winn-Dixie. I believe he raced it in the Busch Series there, Phil. It was the number 60, but the 53 machine looking good here this evening. Being driven by Ryan Rogers, youngest son of Steve Rogers, Young Guns Series graduate, 2010 Young Guns champion, multiple victories in different series here at Excel. One of those guys that graduated from the Young Guns Series, Phil, is that number 53 machine, and he's working over that top side, almost up, pulling up to that number 42 machine of Alan Bolio in that Xerox machine. It's near and dear to my heart, so that Xerox machine, I'm calling that all evening long. But that number 53 Winn-Dixie working on the top side with the number 2 of Todd Colpetts.
Yeah, he said Ryan Rogers had the 53, an Excel Series Young Gun champion. They're very proud. They have 3 graduates of that Young Gun Series here tonight. Ryan Rogers at 53. Caleb Rutherford there, the 18 we've seen, unfortunately, on the event. He was also a Young Guns graduate, as well as Ryan Doucette and that number 77. Now, the great thing about Ryan is they said the age limit here was 18 years old for the series. Well, Ryan, I believe they said, has just recently turned 15, but he's been racing online for many, many years. I know, Todd, you and I go back a few years ago, with Ryan Doucette, when he was probably about 11 or 12 years old. We got the racing short tracks with him. Ryan gained a tremendous amount of respect from the guys who are at Excel. Very fast, very competitive, got to win a lot of races, and they say, you know what, we're going to waive this age rule because Ryan Doucette has earned all the respect of these guys. Is out there winning races against us wheel to wheel each and every week. Let's make him part of this Young Gun Series. And wouldn't you know it, Todd, Ryan Doucette, the 77, the second time out over here at Excel as part of this Cup Series, able to pick up a victory. So one of the very young guns, Ryan Doucette, well, they said there was 3 guys out of that Young Gun Series over at Excel, something these guys are very, very proud of. And so far, so good is the 20 guys out here on the speedway. A lot of give and take throughout this field, but still all chasing Kenny Shipley, the number 54. He is your race leader into turn 3.
He is indeed your race leader in turn 3, and coming out of turn 4, it looks like the top line has kind of stalled behind that number 53 of Ryan Rogers and the Winn-Dixie machine. It's kind of stalled, Phil, the top line. It seems like the bottom line, even though there's a lot of checkups on that bottom side. I'm going to throw it down to the chat box. Chat box, guys, how you like this race here this evening? First ever showing for the Excel Racing League here on DRTV. I want to hear you guys light up that chat box. Who's going to win this race? It's a little early, but who's going to win this race? I'm not going to make a pick, but I'm asking you guys in the chat box to make a pick. Who's going to be the halfway leader of this race?
Well, we're going to find out here in probably about 4 or 5 laps or so. 57 laps distance. We are on lap number 25, so less than 10 laps away from that halfway marker. All chasing, as you said, Kenny Shipley in that number 54. Brad Douthat right there, that Texaco Haviland Ford, the number 28, currently second. Alan Bolio there, the Xerox Ford running in that third spot. The fourth spot, Ryan Rogers, the Winn-Dixie Ford, and then running in that fifth spot, the 25, that being Craig Brown. Have not seen a lot of Craig tonight, but as we say that, he's going to get freight trained on that low side. He's got competition there from Todd Colpitz to the number 2, the 93 of Dan Yeager. Heavy hitters, Todd, starting to shut their stuff now, approaching that top 5 as they hit the back straightaway.
Yeah, a lot of these guys getting geared up for their first green flag pit stop here at the Talladega SuperSpeedway. Seeing these guys jockey around for position, trying to get down to that low line. Some of these guys going to stay out longer, but I know green flag pit stops are coming up here real shortly. It's got to be within a lap or two of a green flag pit stop for these guys, because they said that they can make 16 to 19, and it looks like pit road's going to start getting busy.
Couple of guys going in. The first one I saw peel off the banking was the 25 of Craig Brown. Contact there onto pit road. Not sure if we caught who the contact was. It looked like it might have been the 11 machine of Rogers. Maybe got a little sideways. 4 Rogers in the field here tonight. Tough to keep track of them all, but that Western Auto Chevrolet finding its way, the number 11, onto the pit sign, all in the right direction. The 11's on the pit sign. There's right side tires in the air for the Rogers machine. The number 11, right side's in the air, getting that thing full of fuel. Will they swing to the left sides? Because it's going to take 2 cans of fuel. It's going to be at 4 tire pit stop on that 11, Todd. He's going to be down the way, down onto your side of pit road.
Not being able to catch up with these guys down on pit road, because I was watching the leaders, and here comes Kenny Shipley down to pit road. The number 54 machine of Kenny Shipley down on pit road. A whole gaggle of cars coming down pit road towards us, Phil. I'm going to cover Kenny Shipley as he comes down. Slow 55 miles an hour. It's a slow pace compared to 200 miles an hour around the Talladega Superspeedway. But he's coming down to the attention of his pit crew. A long trek down pit road. But the 54 now into his stall. Did not overshoot it in the 54 machine. Right side tires going on Kenny Shipley's car. I'm going to have to see if he's going to take a 4-tire pit stop. Most generally, these guys at Talladega only take 2. He only takes 2. He's down and away, Phil. Kenny Shipley.
There was 2 tires for the Brad Douthat machine, the number 28. Also a 2-tire stop on the 53 of Ryan Rogers on this end of pit road. All those guys down the way. Now awaiting word to pit road for the race leader, the 42 of Alan Bolio. He's found his way to pit road. The Xerox Ford, the 42. Also Frank Divins, the pole sitter, also on the pit lane. And also Terry Bombard, that Smokin' Joe's Ford, number 10. The pride of Willimantic, Connecticut, also on pit road. I'm down the 42 pit as we await Alan Bolio to hit that pit sign. The long 55-mile-an-hour trek. Alan onto the sign. Fuel going in, right side tires in the air for the 42, so it'll at least be a 2-tire stop. I said 2 cans of fuel. It's going to take probably about 14 or 15 seconds, so you may see 4 tires. Again, they're going to swing over to the left sides. No, a 2-tire pit stop. Very quick work for the 42 of Alan Bolio, Todd.
2-tire pit stop for your pole sitter Frank Divins, and also a 2-tire pit stop left side tires for both these men. Terry Bombard, they're both down and away, and they're drag racing out of pit road to get back out on the track. So Terry Bombard and Frank Divins, 2 tires was the call, but left side tires there, Phil.
Yeah, a lot of different strategy plays. I didn't see any no-tire stops on the third wave of stops here. I believe that's going to complete this cycle of green flag pit stops. Now, just now past the halfway marker, working lap number 29. We'll hit number 30 this time around under the green flag. We'll see if we can get timing and scoring to catch up to us, rather, and to see who just won that race off of the pit lane. The field is in turn number 3, and by guesstimation, Todd, I believe it's Kenny Shipley, the number 54, may have been the first car off of pit road, as he's out there with Chris Rogers, the 00. They have a decent little advantage over the third place machine, that being the Brett Douthat car in that number 28. Just about a full second when they hit the start finish line, but Brad there in the 28, he has drafting help from Ryan Rogers, the 53. Terry Bombard's there in the 10. Also Rogers in that number 12 machine. One of the 4 Rogers boys out here this evening, out there around the Talladega Superspeedway. So no doubt with that big gaggle of cars, 4 or 5 strong, they should no doubt catch these race leaders, and most likely a lap there as they're rapidly approaching them as they hit turn 3.
Yeah, the 54, Kenny Shipley, and the 00, the double knot, Chris Rogers. They're kind of tandem drafting around here, but this is not the new Talladega. It's not paved. It's not like NASCAR was with their tandem drafting. 5 cars in the pack is going to catch 2. It's just inevitable that 5 cars will catch these 2, and they're going to make it a 7-car pack here momentarily. Looks like lap traffic was coming up for these guys. They did put down, I'm not sure who that was, a lap down to the field. I think it's the number 25 machine of Craig Brown. Yep, it is Craig Brown going down a lap to the field, but these guys starting to reel them in, Phil. They're only 0.71 back, and I think they have it reeled in. They have an amazing run here coming up on these 2 cars. They're going to come up and try to stall their run. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do so there, Phil, as they're running over on the bottom side, but it looks like the line broke up just a little bit. So it looks like the top 2 cars are going to stall the 5 cars that were behind them.
Yeah, they did really stall that run out. So just to clear that up, 2 guys looks like maybe had to stop and go penalties, maybe speeding or some kind of infraction on the pit lane. Took the 25 of Craig Brown and also Michael Rogers in the number 11. Those guys are currently running in the 19th and 20th positions, respectively. They're all 1 lap down to the race leader, which is Kenny Shipley, as they exit turn number 2. It's Kenny Shipley, the 54. Chris Rogers, the 00, right there in second. Brad Douthat right there in that 3rd spot with 28. Ryan Rogers is currently 4th. Terry Bombard 5th. 6 through 10. Steve Rogers is 6th. Frank Dibbins is 7th. Todd Colpitz is 8th. Alan Bolio is 9th. Brent McDonald right there in that 10th spot in that number 14. Don Warnke is 11th. Rex Adam is 12th. Dan Yeager is 13th. Wade Higginbotham is 14th. And William Beecham in that number 95 is currently 15th. 16th is Andrew Hertz. Ryan Doucette out there in 17th. And Tim Atkins in 18th, the number 24. Those are the cars in the lead lap. Last 2 running will be Craig Brown, the 25. Michael Rogers in that number 11. Those 2 cars a lap down, currently 19th and 20th. And 2 cars that started out of the event here early. That being Caleb Rutherford in the number 18 and Mike Benefill in that number 44. That's your full field rundown here, just past the halfway marker. We've just completed our first round of green flag pit stops, working lap number 34 of 57 that make up this 150-mile race here tonight at Talladega, the Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Say It, Fight It, Cure It 150. We're past the halfway marker, and so far, Todd, very impressive run by these guys. Clean and green off pit road, and all still chasing Kenny Shipley in that number 54.
Yeah, we've just been marred by 1 caution here this evening at the Talladega SuperSpeedway. These guys staying single file on the bottom. Nobody really jumping out of line here amongst your top 7 here, Phil. It's going to be interesting to see when these guys are going to start jumping out of line. We got about 23 laps to go of this race, but I want to take time out to actually say something about DRTV and say that we do have DVDs available from DRTV from this race or any races in the past. We haven't sold many DVDs of any of these races, but I want to see some DVD sales pick up here on DRTV. So just go over to drlracing.com, pick up a DVD of this race or any of the races that we've had. You can watch it right on the big screen. Great quality. Rich spends a lot of time on those labels. Looks fantastic on your big screen TV. So DVD is available if you go over to drlracing.com. Also, DRTV store still up and available. Christmas is right around the corner. I know I said Christmas. Christmas right around the corner. Get some great DRTV items available at the DRTV online store. That's also at drlracing.com.
Todd, did you say Christmas?
I did.
Well, you say Christmas, but we're just approaching Halloween, and we're going to have a great Halloween spectacular from our friends at East Coast Thunder here on Sunday night. ECT from Talladega SuperSpeedway, so be on the lookout for that. We'll have all the live links posted at the website, drlracing.com, but we'll turn our attention back to what we have on hand here, the Pancreatic Cancer Awareness 150 here from Excel Racing, currently working lap number 36, all chasing race leader Kenny Shipley in that number 54 out in the race lead. Kenny is led throughout the middle stages of this race. This race has been slowed, as Todd said, by the 1 yellow flag. We've had 1 round of green flag pit stops, and we're probably already just about halfway through this green flag run. So on this fuel run, So awesome running by these guys out there. Kenny Shipley out with the race lead. He's got a 7-car pack on the lead lap, and also I believe 1 car there, that Craig Brown machine, 1 lap in the rear. So it's an 8-car lead pack. Kenny Shipley, Chris Rodgers, Brett Douthat, Ryan Rodgers, Terry Bombard, Frank Divins, and Steve Rodgers making up that top 7 there amongst the leaders. But there's a second pack that's formed, you can see on your screen. These guys are 3.6 seconds off the race lead, trying to run this lead pack down. That being led by Dan Yeager, the 93, Wade Higginbotham in the 33, also William Beecham there in that number 95. That's your top 10 trying to chase down the race leaders. 20 laps to go here at Talladega, Todd. This race is flying by, and no doubt, Kenny Shipley's been laying waste to him here in that number 54.
Kenny Shipley running the bottom side of the speedway in that number 54 machine right now, and these guys just following suit, playing the Pied Piper is Kenny Shipley out there, out front, just leading these guys around. And I think some of these guys, Phil, my strategy would be try to hang back and try not to cause a wreck right now, and and try to make it to the end. That's basically what goes on with the Talladega SuperSpeedway, is try to stay out of trouble, try not to cause an incident, and try not to make somebody's night ended here, especially in this Cup Series. These guys got a lot going on. You got the 00 machine of Chris Rodgers. He's your current points leader. Ryan Duchette in that number is second, only 2 points back. Then you got Brad Douthat is 10 points back. These guys separated by 10 markers. Dan Yeager's only 37 points back, 48 points back. Steve Rodgers, Kenny Shipley is 51 points back. Andrew Hertz is 7th, 58 points back. Terry Bombard is 72 points back in 8th. 9th is Alan Bolio, 72 points back. 10th is Craig Brown. Mike Bettiful, who is out of this race, he was 170 markers back. And Kyle Lawson rounds out your top 12. I believe that's their chase format there, but Kyle Lawson is 225 points back, Phil. So quite a points showing right now going on. And Talladega is one of those types of things that you play your chess right, your chess game right, and your markers right, and make sure that you come out on top, and maybe you can actually win a race and propel yourself up into that lead.
Well, as you say, Talladega is always a game of survival, and these guys are doing just that. Riding around there in that line amongst them 2 packs, trying to keep these cars clean. And, in order to win one of these things, you've got to make it to the finish, and you got to get on and off pit road in a quick, timely fashion, as we've seen these top 7 guys do, all in touch with that lead draft. It's Kenny Shipley out there with the race lead. Right behind him, we see Chris Rodgers in that number 00, that GM Goodwrench Chevrolet, and he's going to be the feature of our next DRTV Driver Spotlight. Down to you, Rich.
Yeah, most definitely the 00. Chris Rodgers started 18th tonight. Highest was second, lowest looks like it was 18th. Currently your second place driver. He has not led a single lap yet in this race, even though he's been up there battling. And just to give you guys a little bit more info about him, Chris Rodgers is currently our 2015 driver standing points champion. He's only got the lead by 2 points right now, but every race matters, and it looks to me like that 00 is in for the hunt tonight.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye. Chris right there, biding his time in that second position, but he's got a hungry pack of guys behind him. Brad Douthat there in that number 28, that Texaco Haviland Ford. Also, probably my favorite. We see 2 Davey Allison, the retro paint schemes, but this silver and black one was by far my favorite. And Brad out there, in that number 28. Brad, a 4-time Excel Cup Series champion, including our 2014 Series champion, out there running in that 3rd position in the number 28, but still all chasing Kenny Shipley, the 54. He's out there in the race lead. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here, working lap number 41 of this 57 that make up this distance tonight. The PCA 150 out of Excel. Probably, Todd, one more pit stop from here should do the distance, so we'll have to keep our eyes to pit road, as I believe the window has been opened, and I believe you'll see guys that can make it one more time from here. But Rich, quickly down to you. You said you had no nugget.
Yeah, we're just digging through some more information. Of course, we were supplied with a lot of information from Chris Rodgers for this event tonight. But just an interesting note on Chris Rodgers. He has never got an Excel Cup Series championship, and he owns this league. And I thought that was pretty amazing. He's currently sitting in 6th right now for the Cup Series championship, but second or first place overall. So he's having a heck of a story. He just can't get that Cup championship yet, guys.
Well, Chris having a good run out of it here tonight and doing exactly what he's got to do. Keep that thing out of trouble, and maybe can he take home his first Excel Cup Series champion. As you said, the point leader by 2 tonight coming in, and I'm sure he's just clenching his fist there. Keep that thing out of trouble. Keep that thing up front. Do all you can do as you chase that elusive first title. And Todd, I know you've been there on many occasions chasing that elusive championship, and at a place like Talladega, you just got to do all you can to, you got to keep that thing clean. First of all, you got to make the finish line.
Yeah, you got to make the finish line because Talladega could be a game changer in the point standings, and if something bad happens to you, you could go from first to last in a matter of seconds and be out of the race. And looking at a new points leader, and you're sitting there in second, and you're like, oh, what just happened, And it's just tough to go around Talladega. It's tough to figure out what everybody else is going to do, and then again, you can't do a lot of things without friends out there on the speedway. And you don't say friends a lot in racing because when you put that helmet on, you just can't be friends. But it looks like yellow flag going to fly out in the speedway. Big wreck. Second pack looks like they got into each other, and it looks like a wreck has ensued in that second pack, Phil. I didn't get a chance to catch it. I was watching this lead pack, but maybe Rich got it there on video.
Well, for no doubt, I'm sure Rich will find it here, and he'll show you an awesome DRTV replay as he always does down there. Hard at work. Nobody works harder than Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, down there in that DRTV control booth. If you've ever seen this thing, it is a tremendous affair what he's got going on there. So many monitors and systems that give you all these awesome pictures week after week and show after show here on DRTV, and we give a kudos to Rich for all the hard work and for all these great shows and looks he gives around all these speedways to all these awesome leagues week after week, and we're thrilled to be a part of it here. Under the second yellow flag of the night, working lap number 44, a multiple car incident. Just got a peek at myself in that second pack, back around where that 93 machine of Dan Yeager was parading there, around that 8th or 9th position. Those guys just riding right in line, and I think Rich will show you a multiple car incident, put us under the yellow flag, which Todd, I'm sure these guys amongst that lead group, hate to see the yellow flag as they had a commanding 3.5 second lead. But on the flip side of that, they did have one more green flag pit stop to make, and sometimes the pressure is on, and you have that one more money stop to make. If you're one of these guys amongst this top 7 that were in that lead pack, are you upset to see the yellow flag, or are you happy to maybe get this work done under the caution flag?
There's so many errors that can happen under a green flag pit stop, Phil. You're coming from 200 miles an hour down to 55, and you could be caught speeding, and then you have to do a stop and go, and then your night's done. I mean, you're out of that lead pack. And under yellow flag conditions, when you're coming down pit road, it's a little bit easier to stay under that speed limit. You're not coming from 200 miles an hour, have to nail your brakes and try to get down to 55 miles an hour where you're coming to like 70 miles an hour, maybe down to pit road under yellow flag. So I think I would like this caution right now, especially in a race like this, especially live on DRTV. I want to win, so yellow flag just helped me, even though I got more cars in there to battle with. I think the yellow flag would play into a key role for me.
Well, you're on the conservative side, Todd, but I'm going to throw it down to our friend who I know is a gambling man who is going to bank on that money pit stop there under green, and that being our good friend Rich Patton on the booth, who's got the DRTV replay queued up for us. So, Rich, down to you.
Yeah, guys, most definitely. This is a huge issue as far as coming in for green flag pits. It looks like there was a little bit of a miscommunication. We're going to keep our eyes on the high side. The number 2 and the number 42. Looks like the 2 might have checked up. The 42 doesn't quite realize he is checking up and just gets right into the rear end of him. Of course, this is slow motion, but you can see he put a heck of a beating on him. We're going to go ahead and turn this camera back at another angle so we can get back in here and show you exactly what happened. Rewind this a little bit. As you see those cars make contact, that's going to push them sideways. The 42 and the 50 is going to tie up with the 93. 42 stays out on the track. Meanwhile, the 93 and the 50 are going in and it doesn't look pretty for them as well. 93 is going to stay out in the grass. 50 is going to come sliding back out into the infield of the grass. So it looks like the 42, the 2, the 93, and the 50 all involved in this one. And guys, you know how that realistic damage is. I think the 42 and the 2 is probably going to get the worst of all that one. Back up to you.
All right, yeah, I just went back and got a look at that replay myself on full, and no doubt, Todd, that the 42 Alan Bolio and the 2 culprits there, they look like they've suffered some severe damage to those machines, and no doubt realistic damage, that aerodynamics, that's going to be a tough road to hoe there if they're going to make a run on it from the back of this field on the restart.
Yeah, and how much damage did they really ensue with themselves hitting all kinds of different things. We're going to have to see what happens with some of them cars. It's going to be a long road to try to get back up to the front, and hopefully all their damage is fixed so they can do that. But it looks like Terry Bombard, your current race leader in that number 10, he was our outside pole sitter. Our pole sitter sitting in second, that's Frank Divens in that 49 Coors machine. He is sitting second. Kenny Shipley, who's led pretty much all race long in that 54 machine, been the dominant car. He is now running third, and I think he's going to have to restart in that third position, Phil, because I think Divens and Bombard played their cards right down there on pit road and made sure that they got back out on the speedway before Shipley. So we're going to have to see what happens. Shipley, then you got Rogers Doucette sitting in that number 5th spot in that number 28 machine. So we're going to have to see what happens with these. A little bit of shakeup up front, Phil, with these lead guys.
Yeah, no doubt a little bit of a shake-up there. Terry Bombard winning, you said play the strategy right. The first car off of the pit lane in that number 10, that Smokin' Joe's Ford, out with the race lead. We've seen Terry a few times here on DRTV at these super speedways, and Terry knows the name of the game. He knows how to get it done and find his way to the front of the field. As does, does Frank Divens in that number 49 machine. We've seen him on victory lane here many times on DRTV, mainly on the short tracks, but we know Frank, he's an accomplished super speedway racer as well. And no doubt he'll look to hook up with his teammate, the 50 of Rex Adams. Rex looks to be tail end Charlie there, that back there in that 18th position. Not sure if Rex got a piece of that last incident, but the Screaming Eagle Racing teammates, Frank Divens, Rex Adams, are broken up, so have to keep an eye on Frank. He may be without a dancing partner, but we've seen him have a strong run tonight here, Todd. He was amongst that top 7 there on that long green flag run, was able to keep toe of that draft, and no doubt I think he'll be a player before it is out. As will Kenny Shipley. We've seen him lead through the middle section here. Kenny, the 54, currently in that 3rd spot. We know he's been fast. Can he get his way back to the front of the field? Chris Rodder's been fast. He's right there in 4th. I believe it's safe to say, Todd, if you're in tow with this restart amongst this top 15, here with less now with 10 laps to go, it's anybody's race from here at Talladega.
Yeah, you're going to take a lot of chances up front, especially with almost under 10 to go here. We'll be under 10 to go when we go back to the line. Pace lights are out atop the pace van, the DRTV pace van are out. Remember that we do go double file restarts. I believe it's going to happen here even under 10 to go. Double file restarts, they do take the initial green flag, and they do indeed do that, as I got that whispered in my ear. But they do indeed go double file restarts right after they take the initial green. They go another lap around, further double file restart, and then they get the green flag. So we're going to be about 8 laps to go, Phil, when we get that green flag. So it's go time. Some guys are not going to play their cards all at once. Some of these guys, I think you'll watch and wait for lap about 2 to 3 to go, and you're going to start seeing some of these guys make a move, but you don't want to make it too early because some of them guys are waiting in the wings to pair up and go right by you.
Now, Todd, you're an accomplished super speedway guy. I've seen you win a lot of these races here. I pushed you to some race wins here at Talladega. Now, where do you think the money spot to be on this restart is here with less than 10 laps to go? Where do you think you want to be on this restart, and how many laps would you wait in the wings here before you turned it on and light that wick and try to make a run it out to the front?
I like where Kenny Shipley is right now in 3rd. I like to be 3rd. And I'm going to wait to about 2 laps to go, Phil, and then I'm going to see if I can partner up with maybe Chris Rogers back there. He's your current points leader. I'm going to partner up with that 0-0 machine, try to make a deal with him to push me up to the front, and hopefully he stays with me and doesn't try to win. But if it comes down to 1 to go, I'm going to block him too. So the 0-0, Chris Rogers, he is your current points leader. Maybe use him to your advantage. So I'd like to be 3rd.
Now, last question, Todd, because, we never know what's going to happen here, but you say 54 of Kenny Shipley, which I think Rich and I agree is probably the place you want to be on this restart. As we've got the unofficial green flag, these guys will take one lap around before they put it under the official green flag conditions. But if you're Kenny Shipley, you're riding in that third spot with 2 to go, do you try to force the hand and try to get to that inside line, or are you willing to go out to the high side?
Well, I'm going to stay on the inside line as long as I can. I'm not going to go outside right away. I think what I would try to do is try to get Rogers get a good start of this race. As Shipley's got to get a good start on the bottom side. Stay to the bottom, and hopefully Rogers ducks down in behind me, and then hopefully we stay down on the bottom. Then we go to the outside with 2 to go.
Well, I want to ask that same opinion of our YouTube chat box tonight here on DRTV. Everybody out there, I want to know what you're thinking. How many laps to go before you make that move for the race lead, and what line you're going to choose? Are you going to use that high lane? Are you going to be high, wide, and handsome, as they would say Harry Gant would be? Or are you going to try to be a bottom feeder? Are you going to try to make that pass for the win on that low side? So challenge to you guys out there watching in the YouTube chat box. Light it up. Tell me what you're going to do. The field is in turn number 3, about a quarter of a lap away from getting back under the green flag. The race leader, Terry Bombard, has chosen the inside line. They do give lane choice here on these restarts to the race leader. Terry has elected to parade that number 10 from the low side. That's going to put Frank Divins up high in that number 49. Row 2, Kenny Shipley. Chris Rogers in the 00. Brett Douthat. Ryan Rogers will make up row 3. Don Warnke. Steve Rogers, the number 12, will be row 4. Brett McDonald. Todd Colpitz. We've seen Todd get damage on that restart. He's going to restart 10th. Does he have anything left in that Exxon Chevrolet number 2? We're about to find out. The DRTV Pace Fan is underway on the pit side. Todd, I'm going to throw it to you for our restart.
As they're coming down through the trial, roles reversed from the initial green flag. It was Divins and Bombard. Now it's Bombard and Divins getting ready to get the green flag. These drivers getting ready to put that loud pedal down one more time, and hopefully for the final time here at Talladega, as the green flag is in the air, and the number 10 of Terry Bombard gets an amazing start, and Kenny Shipley does the same, and he follows the number 10 of Terry Bombard into that second spot. Doesn't look like Chris Rogers is going to fall into line. The number 28 machine is right there in that third spot, so now I'm going to have to use that number 28 machine to my advantage. Shipley going to have to make a move here later on in the going. I believe it's too early to make a move here with 8 laps left. Bank almost 7.5 laps left now here at the Talladega Superspeedway, Phil.
Yeah, into turn number 3 here off the restart. Terry Bombard with the race lead was able to take that number 54 machine of Kenny Shipley up to that second spot. Brad Douthat, the 28, up the third. The race now is for 4th. That's Warnke in that red and black number 5 at Texaco Haviland Ford down low. Frank Divins up high in that number 49. Side by side for that 4th spot. Trying to make it 3rd as he hit turn 1.
Shipley trying to be a little bit defensive. He looks in his rearview mirror in that number 54 machine. He sees a mirror full of Frank Divins and the 00 of Rogers up on the top side. He's trying to make sure that top side's not going to get a run, and I think if you see that top side get a run, you're going to see Shipley shift up to the top side with Divins running real hot and heavy up there in that 49 machine. So Divins up on the top side, trying to get the top side to start rolling around the speedway. Shipley running second. Bombard, your current race leader in that number 10 machine. He's got a mirror full of Shipley.
Yeah, Shipley's right there all over the Bombard machine off of turn number 4. Still single file amongst that low lane. Brad Douthat right there, the 28 in that 3rd spot, but the race is for 4th. Frank Divins up high, Warnke in the number 5 down low. Divins has Chris Rogers, that good wrench Chevrolet, number 00 in the high lane, trying to do all they can to side draft. Can't quite make it amongst them top 4. Still all chasing race leader Terry Bombard off of turn 2.
Yeah, I'm seeing Kenny Shipley in that 54 work over Terry Bombard. Looks like Shipley's going to move to the outside. He's going to make his move. I don't know if it's going to be early. Nope, he's going to duck back down into line. Shipley trying to work over Bombard. You see Bombard looking in his rearview mirror with Shipley sitting there going back and forth on the rear bumper of Bombard. He makes contact with Bombard. Bombard around and hard into the outside wall. Lots of cars and carnage. Looks like we may have a roof surfer down there on the speedway. And we're going to have to see what happens here, Phil, as carnage ensues on the speedway.
Race back to the yellow flag looks to be won by Kenny Shipley. He was in a side-by-side battle with Frank Divins. They were making contact going back to the start-finish line to put us under the yellow flag for the third time tonight. It's going to be a shootout, and what better way to end it here on DRTV tonight from the Talladega Superspeedway. There's 5 laps to go as they hit the yellow flag. The field behind the DRTV pace fan on the back straightaway. But Kenny Shipley, the 54, your current race leader, followed by Frank Divins. Ryan Doucette, the 77, Todd. He's been able to come from the back. He's now currently in that third spot. Todd Kolpitz, the number 2, has found us at the 4th. And Wade Higginbotham, that number 33, he's found his way now off that second pack up to the top 5. A multiple car incident there. I believe you said some roof surfing there. I've seen some guys now on the hook having to be towed behind the wall. Their nights are going to be done. It's going to be a wild replay here when Rich finds that to give you the best looking angles he possibly can to show you exactly what happened to put us under this yellow flag here late in the going here for this PCA, the Pancreatic Cancer Awareness. Say it, fight it, cure it 150. Brought to us by Excel Racing tonight here, the Talladega Superspeedway. We're less than 5 laps to go. And a developing story here. The point leader has retired from this event, that being Chris Rodgers, involved in this incident amongst many others. But let's tell let the pictures tell the story here. Rich, down to you.
Yeah, guys, a lot of excitement. We know how it gets on super speedways getting down towards the end of these events. These guys are close. They're bumper to bumper. They're in the corners. And that's not a good place to be bump drafting, as you're going to find out. The 54 and the 10 looks like they're going to make contact. 54 is right on the bumper in the corner. He catches him down on the corner, almost got a little bit below him. That's going to be enough to send the 10 down on the apron. But guess what? We're in the corner. The 28 comes down below the 10. 10 goes back up. Let me pan this camera back out so our race fans can see exactly what's happening here. We're going to keep our camera on the 10. As you can see, that's the 00. Chris Rodgers, airborne, doing a tail slap on the back end bumper of his car. Meanwhile, the 10's rear end is all crunched in. The 12 is facing the wrong direction. It looks like also the 28 was the wrong direction. He's spinning around. The 5 and the 10 are going to make more contact. There's cars all over. There's the 10 doing some nice roof surfing right down the front stretch. He's still on his roof. Now he did a little bit of a turtle there. He's able to get back up on all fours. Meanwhile, we've got a lot of smoke on the track, a lot of burn-up rubber. And since we're running realistic damage, guys, there's going to be a lot of damaged cars out of this one. Not sure who's going to finish this one, but we're getting down close, guys. Back up to you.
All right, well, under the yellow flag here, a multiple car incident that has claimed it looks like 4 to 5 drivers out of the event here. Let's see if we can't retire out of this event due to carnage here. The 12 of Steve Rodgers, severe engine damage that's going to put him out of the event. Terry Bombard, we've seen him with the race lead, the number 10. He's going to be rolled off on the hook. His night is done, as is Chris Rodgers, the number 00. He's going to be out of this event. He's going to finish up tonight right around that 18th position. Also, the last car being claimed by this incident, the number 14, that Quaker State Chevrolet of Brent McDonald. He's out of the event. So that's going to leave, looks like about 14, maybe 13 cars in the lead lap. Also a developing situation from the 33 camp. Looks like Wade Higginbotham has fallen out. He's connection issues, and some damage there with the 33. Not sure his night is going to continue. Wade back there currently 14th. Looks like he's going to be up behind the wall, and not sure they're going to get repairs on that machine. So developing situation up and down pit road. And also, Todd, I think you've just shouted out in my ear, the race leader Kenny Shipley has found his way to pit road.
Yeah, I think Shipley is serving a penalty in that number 54 machine, I think, for contact with the number 10. It looked like a end of the longest line penalty for Kenny Shipley. Not sure, it didn't come from one of the admins, but I'm sure that's what happened as he made contact with the number 10 of Terry Bombard. So I'm pretty much trying to put 2 and 2 together, and I think Shipley had to serve a penalty. Now going to relinquish the lead and start in the tail end of the lead lap. Frank Divins now going to be your race leader. Divins, and then Doucette. Doucette right now 2 markers back of Chris Rodgers, who was your points leader. I think Doucette now should safely, inherit the points lead after this event at Talladega. And we were talking about it, Phil. Talladega is one of them tracks that you may love, you may hate it, because sometimes it takes you out of contention of you come in the points leader and you go out sitting second or third in points when it's this close.
Well, it's no doubt. Talladega, as we've said on time and time again, is just a game changer. Any event, points race, non-points race, the thing about Talladega is at these high speeds, when things happen, you just may just be an innocent bystander like Chris Rogers there in that number 00 or Brent McDonald. You just get caught up in the wreck because at these speeds running in the draft, there's just nothing you can do. It's a very, very helpless feeling. And Todd, being, we're all racers out here. First and foremost, we're all racers. It is a most helpless, gut-wrenching feeling at a place like a Talladega or Daytona, any kind of these big super speedways. Your night can just be over, boom, just like that.
Yeah, you're driving through smoke, driving through everything that's happening. Hopefully these cars clear and come down to the bottom, so you're not going to hit them. Kind of like a Days of Thunder thing. Put the hammer down, and hopefully you put the hammer down and can get through the wreck. And it's a lot of times that don't happen, and you just got to play your cards right. And hopefully we'll see what happens here. Hopefully we get back to green flag racing, at least a one-lap shootout, I might say.
Well, they're going to hit lap number 55 this time by. We'll see if the lights on the DRTV Pace Fan do get extinguished, and indeed they do go out. So we're going to have at least a one-lap shootout here. Now, mind you, we're going to, looks like a two, looks like maybe one at a time they get lined back up under a double file restart. This may end up being a one-lap shootout. Oh, no, now the word from race control is single file go on the green. So this is going to be it. We're going to have a two-lap shootout here, Rich. A two-lap shootout. These guys are going to go just to the true green flag here. A single file restart. Now that's going to put the field back in the command of Frank Divens, number 49, who has a hungry group behind him. Ryan Doucette, he's young, he's hungry. That number 77, he's currently in that runner-up position. Todd Colpitts, we know Todd's a many, many time winner over here at Excel. He's got that Exxon Chevrolet number 2 in that third spot. Tim Adkins, that number 24. Have not talked a lot about Tim. He's found his way now a contender. Up there in that fourth spot. Now rounding out the top 5, the 50, Rex Adams. We know Rex is a super speedway guy. He's right there now in tow. Todd, is it anybody's ball game from here on, a two-lap shootout? I mean, do you want to be a guy like Frank Divens trying to hide them, hold them guys behind you, or do you want to be a guy like Ryan Doucette and just be on the charge?
I'd rather be on the charge because when you're the leader, especially with 2 laps to go, Phil, you get too good of a start. Some of these guys you'll see lay back. I think they still a lot of these leagues have a rules like 0.2 to 0.1 behind the guy in front of you. But a lot of these guys are going to lay back, and hopefully you don't get a good start. You get a good enough start where these guys stay in line with you, because if you get 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 car lengths advantage over the guy behind you, you could be a sitting duck because these guys come up to speed a little bit faster. Pace Fan makes that hard left-hand turn down to pit road. We're getting ready to go back to green flag racing here at the Talladega SuperSpeedway Excel Racing League 2-lap shootout, Phil. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Waiting on the green flag, it's going to be Divens, Doucette, Colpitts, Atkins, and Adams. That is your top 5 here, getting ready to get the green flag, getting ready to put the loud pedal down. Green flag is waving in the air, and Frank Divens, your current race leader, going to have to see what these guys do, because usually it takes about a lap and a half to get up to full song, but it looks like the number 77 Doucette right there on the rear bumper of Frank Divens down into 1.
Yeah, Ryan Doucette all over the bumper of Frank Divens as they exit turn 2. Third car in line, Todd Colpitts, too. It looks like he laid back a little on that start. Not sure it was a calculated just lay back and try to get momentum and get that run, or maybe some damage there from an earlier wreck. He's got Tim Atkins right there in that number 24 over the back bumper. The race now is for that 5th spot. Here comes the Pennzoil Chevrolet, driven by Andrew Hurst, that number 39. He's found his way up amongst the ranks of the top 5. All chasing race leader Frank Divens. Todd off at turn 4 for the last time.
Yeah, Hurts got a run on the top side, and that number 39 trying to capitalize. Looks like he may take over that 3rd spot from Colpitts. He's all by himself up on the top side of the speedway. Hurts trying to make a move in that number 39 machine. White Silk in the air. Frank Divins leading Doucette down into corner number 1, but the story of the race right now, Hertz battling for third with Colpitts. Looks like these guys looking in the rearview mirror, they're looking up and seeing, oh, these guys are battling going down the back straightaway. We might have to 3 wide. Oh, Hertz gets turned down the back straightaway. Hertz around. Yellow flag as the race is going to be back to the line for the win, Phil.
Race for the win now into turn number 3. Frank Divins of that number 49 out with the race lead. Ryan Doucette right there in tow wants it. Here comes Kenny Shipley. That number 54, the whole shot move. He's going to be past the Doucette machine, trying to make the run up through the middle. 3 wide for the race win. The PCA 150. Too close to call at the line. Who wins it? It looks like it's Kenny Shipley. Kenny Shipley will take down the win with an incredible move. He'll clear the checkered flag tonight in the PCA 150. Wow.
3 wide battle for the lead and the finish, and it looks like Shipley got the win, and Shipley indeed has the win. And where did he come from, Phil? Shipley, 2 laps to go. He was mired at the tail end of the lead lap, and Shipley comes all the way up through to win that race. Divins, he beats Divins by .006, and Ryan Doucette is third. He was .131, so those guys wicked close, and that was an amazing race to the line. They were door checking, Phil, and that was an awesome race. What a finish here at the Excel Racing League.
The Excel Racing League putting on the showcase here tonight at the Talladega Superspeedway. The Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Say It, Fight It, Cure It 150 here at Talladega, and it certainly lived up to the billing. A 3 wide finish to the race lead through the trial and back to the start-finish line. And when the smoke settled, the dust cleared, Kenny Shipley with an incredible move. He was about 6th position there when there was contact into turn number 3, and he was able to make an incredible move for the race win, which I want to show you one more time. Rich, take it away.
Yeah, most definitely going to keep our eyes here on Divins and Shipley right there in the 49 and 54. What an amazing ending. We're going to let this play out in real speed. We'll pause it once we get up there. You can see Shipley's trying to find his way. He's got a little bit of a run. That's going to get him up on the high side of Divins. It looks like the 77's thinking about going down low. Meanwhile, 54 and 49 are bumping a little bit going down the front stretch. We're going to see who's got the muscle to stay in it. And as you can see, right there at the line, we'll back it up. Look how close this race was. Right there. Let me see if I can't change this camera around at a little bit better of an angle and let you guys see that. But it looks like right there, the 49 of Shipley wins just by a bumper, guys. That is just amazing ending for this event. Back up to you.
A incredible finish here tonight from a Talladega Superspeedway. A humongous hats off to all these guys that excel in an awesome race indeed there. A 3 wide thrilling finish there to the checkered flag, and the end of it, Kenny Shipley was able to take down the win. We're going to let Rich get out of the trailer and get down to what will be a wild victory lane. I know Todd's down there chasing down the 49 camp of Frank Divins. I'll see if we can't catch up with our 3rd place finisher, that being our young gun there, runner-up in points coming in tonight, the 77 of Ryan Doucette. Ryan, Phil Lacassim, DRTV, do you have a copy?
10-4, I gotcha.
Ryan, a thrilling finish right there coming off of turn number 4. Looked like you were in the catbird seat there in that 2nd position. Not sure if you've seen the 54 of Kenny Shipley coming there, but it made for an incredible run, and you're going to finish up here tonight in that 3rd spot. What were you thinking there coming off of turn 4?
Well, it didn't exactly start in turn 4. It was on the last lap. I saw the guys. I thought it was Todd at first, back in 3rd, and I was saying that he's going to get a great run from 3/10 back, and it ended up being Kenny. And coming out of turn 4, I couldn't get the run, so I just let Kenny through, praying that they would wreck each other. But Kenny made it through and won. It was a great race.
Oh, it was a phenomenal race, just a thrilling finish. And Ryan, I love your honesty right there. Just let them by and hope they make contact and try to be the first back to that checkered flag. But an awesome run by you tonight. You know, through that long green flag run there in the middle sections of the race, you were back there in that 2nd pack, just biding your time, hoping for that late yellow flag, and you've got to be able to put yourself back in contention. And just an awesome out of that 77 camp here tonight. Putting it on the podium, they're coming home third, which I'm sure you're very, very excited about.
Yeah, having a podium for me at a super speedway is a win itself.
Well, no doubt indeed. Well, Ryan, the first time we've got to talk to you here on DRTV, a Young Guns champion over here at the Excel Racing League. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there in YouTube land you'd like to thank for allowing you out here tonight. Say hi to, thank your sponsors. So I'm going to give you the microphone. The floor is all yours.
I got to thank all the guys at Excel, Chris, Dano for making all these cars, Kenny for donating the money for this race, and my sponsor, Jim Fisher Electric, who's used to be on my real car, and my parents for putting up with me racing every night, and that's about it.
All right, well, that's Ryan Doucette. Congratulations on your third place finish here. It was an awesome, awesome race indeed. I'm going to throw it down to my broadcast partner, Todd Stanton, who I believe has caught up with our second place finisher, that being Frank Divins.
I am indeed caught up with driver out of Riverview, Florida, the driver of the Coors Motorcraft, Domino's Pizza sponsor machine, the driver of the number 49, Frank Divins. Frank, an amazing show there at the end. All I can say is, wow, not many races make Phil lose his voice, but if you listen to the end of that race, Phil loses his voice, you come up just a little bit short, but second place. Great job, Frank.
Thank you very much. I tried, but it seems like that's been the habit this weekend. I did the same thing over at TDR's truck race Friday night. I believe I lost by the same bumper, so kind of getting used to it.
Well, going there at the end of the race, you started out front, and what was your original thought when you started up front? What was your plan, your strategy up there?
Well, my partner Rex Adams was in fifth, but he had damage from two previous cautions. I thought maybe Todd Colpitts might go with me, but when I saw in the restart that they had laid way back, I figured they're either going to get a run or something happened and it's just me and Ryan. So I just tried to stay at the bottom and stay in front of Ryan as much as I could. And I really, even out of four, thought I had it. I don't know where Kenny came from. He must have had a heck of a run, but I guess Ryan just went too high and gave him the slot down low, or I don't know what happened. He just got in there somehow. And I tried to bang doors with him to slow him up, but he had to run.
A great finish once again, Frank. Another podium finish here on DRTV. We see you a lot on the podium on DRTV, but I know you have a lot of sponsors and people out there you'd like to thank, and people that are watching this race, Frank. Yeah,
everybody back at Screaming We're Racing, and my partner Rex Adams. Also my brother and sister-in-law up in New Bern, North Carolina, and my son watching on a tablet at home. Also to Excel Racing for putting on this, and ironically, KS Motorsports sponsors this race as well, which is Kenny Shipley Motorsports. So I guess he should be very proud tonight.
Well, again, that's your second place finisher tonight. The driver of the number 49, that's Frank Divins. Going to throw it down to Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, I'm sure, who's caught up with an ecstatic driver at the number 54, Kenny Shipley.
Yeah, I made it down here to Victory Lane here in Talladega, and I've caught up with Kenny. Kenny, one heck of a race, man, from third to first in just a quarter of a lap? That's just amazing, man.
Oh, man, it was awesome. You know, I came from the back of that pack on that last caution. I didn't feel like I had the car to make it to the front, but everything worked out great, man. You know, I got to thank this whole league. Them guys has been behind me with my pancreatic cancer ever since I was diagnosed 2 years ago. Couldn't ask for a better league to race with. These guys are great. They're awesome.
Yeah, 10-4, we were aware of that when we started out tonight, that you are one that is currently fighting pancreatic cancer, and we wish you the best of luck, of course, from the whole DRTV family. But it's great to see you out here, and again, I mean, winning this race, that finish, did you think you had him at the line, or did you think you didn't have enough?
Actually, I could just barely see that I beat him, but then on the other hand, I was thinking, wow, did we tie? It's going to be a photo finish.
Oh, and it was, too. We went back and we looked at that back in the replay and put it up for the race fans to be able to see, and it literally looked like just a bumper. I mean, the air dams look like they may have been, scale-wise 4 inches back or something. It was just unbelievable. I wasn't sure you won at first.
Neither was I. It's just an awesome job. Like I said, these guys are great to race for. Excel Racing, we're good, clean drivers. So if anybody comes over and race with us, we're here. We take everybody. Come to excelracing.net. Hit your contacts. You can get a hold of Chris or Dano. They'll get you all set up for us.
Yeah, 10-4. Well, it definitely took a bunch of work from them guys to get all this show together. Hats off to you for winning this event tonight. I'm going to give the floor to you one more time to thank everybody out there, Kenny, and the floor is all yours, buddy.
All righty. Thank you guys very much. First of all, I want to thank Chris Rogers and the family for keeping Excel up and running. And then DanoSkins.net. If you guys need any car painted and graphics-wise, Dano is the man to go to. He does awesome jobs. And then I'd also like to thank SJR Motorsports and Andrew Hertz. He's a big part of this. He helps us out in so many ways on computer-wise and tracks and stuff. And once again, everybody here at Excel, I have so many friends here that are saying prayers along with family and friends. It's just been one great league for me.
Well, 10-4, there you have it. Great job today, Kenny. And we're going to go ahead and let you get back to your friends and family here to celebrate this awesome win. Meanwhile, I run into Chris Rogers down here in Victory Lane. Chris Rogers, your team put on one heck of a show here tonight. Unbelievable finish, man. You must be proud of these guys.
If that didn't cap the end of the show, I don't know what would. That was exciting. Unfortunately, I had to sit to finish out and watch it from the grandstands. But, man, they put on a good show. Hats off to Kenny. Congratulations on the win. Frank and little Ryan, they really put on a good show. I honestly didn't think Kenny was going to catch him. Kenny was so far back. I knew Kenny went in. He had tires. He got involved in that last incident. So, but I was pulling for Kenny. I got behind him when I was out there before that last crash, and I was all set to push Kenny to win. We had pit strategy and everything set up. And I was ready to push him. And then we got caught up in a wreck. But like I said, hats off to these guys. These guys are the best in the business right here at Excel.
Well, 10-4, there you have it. I'm going to go ahead and hang out down here with the rest of the Excel drivers. We're going to send it back up to the booth to sign us off tonight. Couldn't ask for a better race, guys, up in the booth. And back up to you. I'm going to stay down here.
All right. Well, indeed. Enjoy the party down there, Rich, and our best to Kenny, on behalf of all the DRTV family, all the NASCAR Racing 2-3 community. It's a very, very popular winner here tonight. Kenny out there with the fight with pancreatic cancer, and, of course, the Pancreatic Cancer Awareness 150 here tonight. Well done by the Excel Motorsports clan guy and Todd. And I don't know about you, an awesome show, and I just cannot wait to get back over here to Excel. An awesome race tonight, and just a great group of guys, and I can't wait to come back here again. And I know you echo the same sentiment.
Yeah, it was a fantastic show over here tonight, Phil, and I can't wait to come back with this Excel Racing League here. An amazing show. .006 was the finish here this evening. Photo finish here live on DRTV. I believe it was one of our first photo finishes, and I think that's our closest finish ever here on DRTV, and you can't get much better than that for a race here at Talladega. And hats off to Kenny Shipley, Frank Divins, and Ryan Doucette in that number 77 machine. Their podium finishes here this evening, and great race here for Excel. And I'm ecstatic to get back and going here and come back to Excel, and ecstatic for some of the other events we got coming up live here on DRTV.
Well, we have a full slate of events coming up here in the next couple of weeks. We'll be right back here on the air just a few days from now, Sunday evening, November the 1st. We'll make another visit over to the East Coast Thunder Clan, a Halloween spectacular from the Talladega SuperSpeedway. No doubt all them guys at ECT, we know they can put on one whale of a race, and Talladega, no doubt, will serve as a playground for them guys to showcase. So look for that Sunday night. In a couple of weeks, we're going to make our return trip over to our friends at the SMO Hardcore League and pay a visit to Jamie and all them guys at SMO in a few weeks. And also, about 3 weeks from today, on a Saturday night, we'll make a trip over to the TNT Clan, house out of the RTG stable, the Holden Motorsports 300 from the Thompson Speedway will no doubt make for an awesome show here amongst the many of events coming up here on DRTV. So over the busy months of November and December, of course, head over to the website, drlracing.com. Check out all we have going on. And, of course, if you'd like to get your league on DRTV, great event packages there, custom fit to all your needs there to come out and get Todd, Rich, myself, and the DRTV cameras. Put your league live out on YouTube and, just showcase everything you guys got going on. So, of course, the home of DRTV, us, drlracing.com. On behalf of my TV broadcast partners, Rich Patton and Todd Stanton, it's been a very, very special broadcast with a very popular win here tonight. Congratulations to Kenny Shipley for winning this Pancreatic Cancer Awareness 150. So for Todd, for Rich, my name is Phil. We'll see you back here in a few days live with our next installment of DRTV.
Laughing like we're crazy, nothing mattered, nothing fazed me. We were younger then, so much younger then.